Good morning. Today I would like to share with you what I learned from the course on learning management and evaluation. This subject has reshaped the way I think about assessments. Not as a technical afterthought, but as a central plan of teaching and learning process. Over the last decades, the role of evaluation in education has shifted dramatically. And I want to highlight four main areas that stood out to me from this course. The changing philosophy of assessment, the modern methods we can use, the importance of differentiation and equality, and how teachers can apply those tools to improve learning for all students. First, I learned about the changing nature of assessment. Traditional assessment meant tests at the end of the unit, mainly focused on memorization. The purpose was often judgment, who passed, who failed. But this approach limited opportunities for growth. It rather checked the abilities to memorize, but not the way of thinking and being creative and using 21st century skills. I discovered how educational thinkers now emphasize assessment for learning rather than only assessment of learning. This means that measurement is not only about grading, but about guiding instruction, giving feedback, and supporting every student to progress. In other words, assessment are no longer just final checkpoints, they are all ongoing process that inform teaching. Secondly, I explored a wide range of modern evaluation methods. For example, I learned about importance of formative assessment such as exit tickets, peer feedback, and self-reflection journals. These small but frequent measures allow teachers to adjust instruction in real time. They are important. I also studied analytic rubric, which separate content mastery from language proficiency, especially important for multilingual learners. Another powerful method is to use of performance tasks and authentic assessments, where students apply knowledge to real-world contexts such as project, portfolio, or community-based inquiries. Compared to traditional paper tests, this method captures deeper understanding, problem solving, and creativity. Technology has also changed dramatically in the last 10 years. Digital quizzes, learning analytics, dashboards, and e-portfolio now allow continuous tracking of progress. I realized that measurement today is not limited to pen and paper, but can involve multimodal evidence from videos to presentation to online discussion. Third, I learned about the role of differentiated assessment and how it connects to equity. Every classroom contains diverse learners, students with different strengths, background, needs, and abilities. A one-size-fits-all test often fails to capture this diversity. Differentiated assessment means providing multiple ways for students to demonstrate understanding. For example, one student might show knowledge through an oral presentation, another through a written essay, and another through diagram or model. These learning goals stay constant, but the pathways are flexible. Maintaining equity in assessment required being mindful of barriers. For multilingual learners, rubric can separate language clarity from context, knowledge. So a student is not penalized unfairly for grammar when they actually understand the concept. For students with learning differences, scaffolding such as extra time, sentence starters, or visual support can ensure fair access. Equity also means being transparent with success criteria so all learners know what is expected and can aim high. Through the course, I realized that equity is not about lowering standard, but about creating fair opportunities for every learner to meet those standards. And fourth, and most important, the course helped me to reflect on how teachers can use evaluation responsibly. Measurement is powerful, but it can also reinforce inequality if used carelessly. So measurement can be a dangerous force if misused, but if misused correctly, can be powerful force for growth. For instance, high-stakes standardized tests often disadvantage students from rural school and multilingual backgrounds, as I saw in my own context. Modern approaches emphasize fairness, transparency, and students' voice. That means sharing success criteria, clearly provide feedback that is constructive, and designing tasks that give all learners a chance to demonstrate what they know in different ways. I also learned that the evaluation is not only about the learners, it's about the teachers too. Through tools such as peer observation, self-reflection, and action research, teachers can evaluate their own practice and make evidence-based adjustment. This aligns with the idea of continuous professional growth, where assessment becomes part of cycle of improvement, not just an endpoint. One of the most practical takeaways for me was the idea of balanced assessment system. This means combining diagnostic, formative, and summative methods in coherent way. For example, a unit might start with diagnostic tasks to see what students already know, include multiply formative checks along the way, and end with summative performance project. This balance provides a fuller picture of students' learning than any single method could give. Finally, I want to share my mindset change. Before I thought of assessment mainly as something stressful for students and often burdensome for teachers. Now I see it as a partnership, a dialogue between teachers and learner. When assessment is used as a feedback rather than judgment, it can motivate students, build their confidence, and help them to take ownership for their learning. In conclusion, my learning in this subject can be summarized in four insights. First, the purpose of assessment has shifted from simply measuring outcomes to supporting growth. Secondly, modern methods formatted as tasks, rubrics, portfolios, and digital tools allow for richer and fairer evaluation. Third, differentiated assessment and equity ensure that all learners, regardless of backgrounds, can succeed. And fourth, assessment must always be used responsibly, serving as both mirror for learners and compass for teachers. I believe that this course not only expanded my knowledge but also transformed my practice. I, it, it taught me that assessment is not the end of learning, but is the engine that drives learning forward. At the end, I could add that all courses I studied at St. Teresa University were helpful. I really enjoyed that, that I can use what I learned at university, I can use during the week in my classroom. So if I reflect about myself before starting the course and where I am now, definitely I grow. I'm equipped with new tools, new understanding, not only about assessment, about the psychology, about using technology, about quality of education. All those subjects and about how to prepare curriculum, lesson planning, all that theoretical knowledge I was able, to put in practice in my classroom, and I noticed the difference. I hope my colleagues and my managers notice the difference as well. Thank you so much for watching.